everybody, and welcome to the Dungeon Rundown. This is the show where we talk about all the gossip and intricacies and complexities of your favorite tabletop RPG show, The Dungeon Run. How's everybody doing tonight? I saw a lot of familiar names in chat and some new names in chat. Welcome to everybody who's here for the first time, for the 50 billionth time. It's not like we've had 50 billion episodes, but you know what I mean. Welcome, everybody. It is my pleasure to see you here, as always. Tonight with me, we have Jarrett and Morgan. Welcome, guys.
Yay!
Hi.
So happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you guys here. I feel like we always have very good in-depth conversations when it's the combo of you two.
Very heady.
Jarrett and I can you know, we just take it right to the most cerebral stuff.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
I couldn't even keep a straight face through saying that.
So how are you guys? How are you holding up after last week's adventure?
Pretty good.
Yeah, last week was such just an overwhelming shower of joy and tears and love, and the episode was fun too. But yeah, it was so wonderful, and again, just reaching out and massive hugs to all of the fans and the community. Last week's episode was a doozy. Yeah. This past weekend was just kind of so amazing. I think we spent most of it with a tear in our eye.
Oh, no, I can't imagine why you would have had a tear in your eye this past weekend, but it might have something to do with our D&D news for tonight, which is that a little-known show on Caffeine called The Dungeon Run celebrated its 1-year anniversary.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
The awesome community, the watchers and the runners put together an amazing 1-year anniversary stream that I know a lot of you guys had the opportunity to take part in.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to us, we took part in.
So did you think you were just going to get to watch it?
That's what I was planning. And then I got a couple of messages. It was like, you're going to come on this, right? And I was like, I look like I just got out of the pool. I don't know if that's a good idea.
How are you going to turn these beautiful people down? No, the minute that Dyson Capes had announced it, I was like, if you need anything, if you need any help, let me know. And he's like, do you just want to come on? I was like, sure. So I think Ron and I were the only two people who were planned arrivals. But then after that, it was all, because the whole stream went about 2.5 hours on Friday night.
Yeah.
It was just like a 2.5 hour love fest of
amazing.
It was oh God, one of the most special moments of my professional life for sure.
Yeah, it's also very motivating, to know that there's people that are that into the show. That I knew people because of trivia. I knew people knew the show.
Yeah.
Factually and what happened, but I had no idea that the show had impacted people on a personal level, and I think right now, because of the quarantine and what have you, it means a lot to a lot of people, which really makes me feel loved and appreciated, which in this day and age is invaluable.
Yeah, it is that thing of where it's especially true in film and TV or just on camera stuff in general. And Trisha, I'm sure you've had this experience too, where sometimes you're just kind of putting stuff out there into the world. And social media has allowed us a little bit of a talk back and a little bit like that, but it's really hard to know how things are landing. And so, and especially now when we're all just home and doing this, it is so gratifying and incredible and overwhelming to kind of see the response that people have had, and that it's as important to others as it has been to you, is the greatest. It's the greatest.
Well, and I think we all really needed that squishy love fest. In the times that we're in right now, this is the time to do that. So it's just really amazing. All the support that we see from this community time and time again through their involvement in the storytelling, their involvement in creating content around the storytelling. Yeah. Everybody here on the rundown every week that's asking questions and wanting to know, it really is fantastic. So thank you to all of the community members that put that together. And you're absolutely right, Morgan. I feel like a lot of times when you put content out on the internet, you get caught up or you see a number. At least when I first started out, I got lucky and kind of tripped and fell into a channel that became big very quickly, kind of like Dungeon Run. And it's you see the numbers, but it's hard to like, you know, you look and you're like, oh man, 5,000 views. That's cool.
Cool.
Until you actually think like, what does 5,000 people look like?
Yeah. Especially when you grew up doing theater in houses that were like 100 people.
That weren't always full.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's so true.
And like patiently awaiting your review from the 2 local papers and put on the internet.
Oh God, you're giving me flashbacks. Stop it, you guys.
The comment section on every episode.
Yeah.
Screw you, Central Wisconsin Times. I'm sorry, Central Wisconsin Times. I don't mean it.
Gamer Share in chat, thank you so much for the digital love. Says rundown forever. # rundown forever. Thank you so much, guys. We're gonna make this one an extra special one so that it can hold everybody over until the rundown comes back from hiatus. So if you missed that announcement last week, this is the final episode of the Dungeon Rundown before we go on hiatus, but hopefully we will be coming back soon after that. In regular Dungeon Rundown business, as always on this show, we have a comment of the night theme, we should say, a little bit of a challenge, so that everyone who's here in chat can, you know, use their creativity and find a way to win yourself some Dungeon Run swag. If you don't have any already, if you want to add to your current collection, whatever it may be. I see Jarrett is wearing some Dungeon Run swag.
Yeah, I got my hot a Chai Riders t-shirt on, which is a collector's item now because I got one of the early editions where it was misspelled.
It's misspelled.
Wait, can you show us?
Stand up and turn around.
Well, I can't stand up. But
oh, okay.
Can you see
Show
it
us.
for me?
There it is.
The clock.
No, it's the Achai Driders. It's what a smoke show, Ron says.
Very, very rare, very exclusive.
Yes,
Do we know how many of those they made? Is it like limited edition 5?
I bet Bernardo or Alex knows. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. No, there were a few. There was a run that went out. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you for showing that off, Jared. But yes, if you want to win some Dungeon Run swag, maybe not quite as limited edition as Jared, but still very exciting, very spicy. All you have to do tonight is come up with, and I'm so sorry, this was me.
I'm not sorry.
You have to come up with, if you were to make a cocktail using the liquor of death, what would the name of that cocktail be? So give us your best liquor of death cocktail names in chat all throughout the evening tonight, and we'll choose one to be the winner, and you may see some Dungeon Run swag headed your way. So that is
Everyone's already worried.
Yeah, whatever the cocktail is, we should definitely make it and drink it the next time we're in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny.
A friend of mine has made cocktails before with like activated charcoal liquor or something, or like vodka. You can do like charcoal vodka, and they just come out looking black. Yeah. Oh God, Sean Becker, Grim Faded, Faded. Sean Becker, you can win this.
Although, shout out to Grim Faded, as always.
Yes, Grim Faded is really good. Yeah.
So that is our comment of the night challenge for the night. Get your thinking caps on and your fingers a typing and make it happen. Now it is time for Let Me Dungeon Run and Get Something. Our show and tell portion of the show. Jarrett, Morgan, who would like to go first?
Do you want me to go first, Jarrett?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because
I'm a little nervous about mine, so you do yours first.
I'm gonna. So today I had to think long and hard about this one because I've been guilty of showing everything that I have. I think last time I was on, I was like, and this, and this, and this, and then today I was like, what the heck can I show? Until I remembered that I have this, which is when we think about like what got us into fantasy storytelling and everything like that. The series of books that like really landed with me when I was like 9 or 10 were the Redwall books, and by Brian Jakes. It is a series of books that he wrote a ton of them. But this is the first one, and
what is that on the cover? Is that a mouse?
So yes, they are a little bit Wind of the Willows-ish, where it's mice and rabbits and rats and badgers and other animals, but it is an adventure fantasy story and it's fantastic. It's kind of violent, but it's like perfect for like 10 to 13. I haven't read them in a while, but they're amazing, and I love them so much. And this is my original copy. This is the copy that that 10-year-old Morgan read, which is signed by the author, which is cool. Yes, by Brian Jakes. And yeah, I love these books so hard, and I highly recommend them. If you have any like middle grade kids or anything like that, I couldn't recommend these more. They're so fantastic. And this is a book and a series of books very close to my heart.
Is that what got you into fantasy, that series of books? Probably.
I mean, and a lot of movies as well, but I like, in terms of the books, it was definitely the first series of books where when I read one, I had to keep reading more. I was like, when's the next one coming out? When's the next one coming out? And then I think he wrote something like close to 10 at a certain point. I think I probably outgrew them by the time I'd read like 5 or 6. But they're so wonderful and very heartfelt and cool stories. I remember I read the Lloyd Alexander books when I was like for school. Like school made you read them as, part of the thing. And so I'm trying to remember the movies that got me into them too. I mean, obviously it's stuff like The Sword and the Stone and Sleeping Beauty and things like that as well. But these were the first like literary things before Harry Potter was ever a thing. Books like that were my gateway drug for
there's
sure.
A lot of people in chat that are saying, I love that series. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's talking about Redwall. I need to know the story behind how you got the book signed by the author.
I don't know. They were a gift from my dad and stepmother. And so I think it was just where it was probably my stepmom was like walking through a bookstore and it's like, Morgan might like this. And there was a signing and I think she just got it there. So I never heard the full story behind that. But I think that was what jumped out to her about it.
Way to go, stepmom.
I know. Stephanie. Love Stephanie. She's one of the people very responsible for making me the person I am today. Yeah.
Yay. Nice. Silly says, is it a first edition?
Probably, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be. It's from 1980s. Boy, it was written in 1986. I probably didn't get it until like 1990. Yeah. I need to reread it. It's been too long.
I've been rereading all the Dritz books over all of this quarantine time, and they hold up well.
I never read them. I never got into them. I read one of the Dragonlance ones. I read Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Yes, which I never finished that series, and I should. Yeah.
Well, there's so many Dragonlance books. I read the original trilogy, but I didn't get into like, you can go down the rabbit hole deep on their Dragonlance books.
I need to read them again now because especially early on with James, I was getting a lot of, James reminds me of...
Raceland?
Of Raceland. I was like, Sean Patrick, remind me. James reminds me of Raceland, and I was like, I don't remember Raceland that much.
Constitution of like 4 or 5 or something like that, which is why he was always like coughing and hacking, and his bigger buffer brother was like carrying him around at times.
I definitely think that James was challenging some people's preconceived notions of warlocks and of guys like him or anything like that, because I was like, I don't think he's exactly like that, but okay, sure. If you want to think that for now, I'll allow it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, I'm looking at some of these suggestions for the comment of the night. It's so good.
The comment of the night suggestions, as well as now the fantasy literature suggestions that are
off
now, are amazing. I want to take notes of all of them. And my question is always, but do they have an audiobook? Because that's like the only reason, or the only way that I get to read books now. In fact, I am very surprised, Jarrett, that you have time to read books right now.
Well, it's usually late at night, like after Logan's gone to bed and I'm, for whatever reason, my brain's going a mile a minute. I do that as a way to wind down and tell my brain, okay, now is when you need to go to sleep. Because if I don't do that, I'll stay up until 2 a.m. playing Divinity 2, and my wife will yell at me, and then we'll all be sleep deprived, and the world will, end.
Your wife doesn't play Divinity 2 with you?
No. I think she wishes that she could punch Jeff in the face for recommending it to me.
But it's so good.
It's really good. It's too good.
I'm still playing Skyrim. I only started playing Skyrim like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, sure enough, I was up until almost 3 a.m. a few nights ago playing it.
Skyrim's great. Yeah.
Divinity's great, but I will caution not everyone's into it. I tried so hard to get my husband to play Divinity Original Sin 2 with me, and he plays tabletop RPGs. Like, he's in RPG,
right?
But he could not port over to the video game version. He was like, "This just makes me want to like sit around the table and actually play Divinity."
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if I had a choice between gaming and like role playing in real life and playing a video game or computer game, I would always choose role playing first, obviously. But if if it's not Wednesday night or Ron's not running his game, then I got to get my fix,
Yeah, it's true.
I'm such
I get it 100%. All right, Jared, what'd you bring for us for Let Me Don't You Want to Get
All right, Kjack, bring it.
So I promised the last time we did this that I was going to write a poem for Miss Hershberger.
That's right, I did win a poem.
Yes, and it has grown and blossomed into something completely different.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me. I'm actually going to get it up on my computer screen now so that I can't see anyone's reaction and no one in chat.
All right.
So bear with me. Stone-faced. So this is called, are you ready, Trish?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see you, so. This is called The Hershberger by Sivrak, straight out of Olsvach. Hold on. Is she Tifa, or Ray, or a Batman's Robin, breaker of chains, or a mother of dragons, dark-haired vixen, mega media goddess, hometown feely girl streaming like Adonis? But this little lady I can easily amend is my compact super-duper dynamite friend. Audacious but gentle, a fighter and a flower, legions of followers all understand her power. Naked truth roaming in a tech landscape, smarter than a polymorphed huge giant ape, the ultimate usurper, baby Wolverine purper, blowing up the stars, closing out the bars. She's a god-slaying gamer and an internet claimer, mapping new worlds and leading revolutions, gaining that experience, raising constitution. Don't discount her, cause she says she's so little. Girl's got more flavor than 100-grain Skittle. More valuable than treasure, way too precious of a gem. I give her all my gold, she's the creme de la creme. The power of a slayer, deadly game player. There's no need to save her from an evil mind flayer. No object or antiquity has ever been stole like a dodecahedron that Trisha once rolled. You think you can win? Get your dice out, son, cause Trish will make you wish like you never had done. Sivrak, out.
What? I can't believe it. Oh my God.
Super nervous. And JLP, I'm totally calling you out.
Wow.
You told me that I should sing or rap or something. So there you go.
Civ Red Thistle just rapped for me.
Yeah.
And also the research you did, sir.
Yeah, I did.
I can't even believe that.
Yeah,
that just happened.
Yeah.
That was maybe the most amazing moment of my life.
Thank you.
And she has a kid.
I have been on stage with Vanilla Ice, and I am happier about Civ Red Thistle rapping Jimmy.
Yeah, that's a Sivrak straight out of Olsvach original right there.
Rewind. I think we need a story about Vanilla Ice. That's your show and tell.
Yeah.
Tell us about Vanilla Ice.
Oh, the story about Vanilla Ice. Okay, yeah. It so pales in comparison to what just happened. I need.
By the way, I'm not a rapper at all. I apologize profusely if I, offend any rappers out there.
Well,
Jarrett, my Sivrak version.
I think it helped you a lot that was Sivrak rapping.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like creative choices in how it was done.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. Wow.
I'm glad you liked it.
That was incredible.
I'm so glad I won Tabaxi Holdup.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I went first. So glad I don't have to follow that.
I wanted to do something special for you, Trish.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
been
so
such a
much.
pleasure to, to get to know you and to have you host this show. So thank you.
Well, and you guys have welcomed me with nothing but open arms into the Dungeon Run family. Even though I came in 10 episodes too late, I didn't get to start at the same time as everybody else.
I know, but because it's you, and we did not know each other before this. I mean, you showed up and it was immediately like, the pros are here, and you were but you were so amazing, and it was, and I think the rundown took off so quickly because it was mostly due to the energy and the presence and how comfortable you made us feel, and it was so great. But yeah, so much love for you, and I can't wait till we're back in the studio together and having this chat there. So yeah.
I know, we can all get in the kitchen and get our tea and like sit.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's gonna be absolutely lovely. But Jarrett, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
I'm gonna count down the seconds now until this video is on YouTube so that I can because it was that good.
Wait.
Thank you.
Hopefully it sounded okay with the music in the background too, but I needed something to keep me on the beat. Otherwise I'd totally get lost.
I'm sure it was muted enough that maybe we'll make it. I don't know.
Sounded great.
My show and tell, my Let Me Dungeon Run and Get Something was going to be my Middle Earth dress, which I'm sure I've worn on the show at some point. We've had so many episodes of the rundown that I'm recycling now.
Yay!
You look great. It's the Middle Earth.
So it's Middle Earth, and the first time I wore this on the rundown, I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if I made a dress like this with the map of Ain? And so we keep joking around that eventually they're going to get me the print so I can get it printed on fabric and sew the dress, because this is not a very hard pattern. I could totally make it. It would just be finding the right fabric to print on and sew so that it has enough give. But one day I will have a dress of Ain. And then everyone will be eternally jealous. But no, my Vanilla Ice story was the first year that I worked in YouTube stuff. I was on a channel called SourceFed that was nominated for the Streamy Awards, and they do the Audience Choice Awards at the end of the night. And our channel had won Audience Choice Series of the Year that year. So it's like the last announced award. So me and my castmates all go up and, we say thank you and we accept the award. And the big performer they had that year at the Streamies was Vanilla Ice. And so we're all like going off stage to do our post-win interviews or whatever with the press line. And we all hear, go Ninja, go Ninja. Go. And I was like, oh, we're going right back out there. Turned straight around and went right back out on stage and like partied hard to the Ninja Turtle song and to Ice Ice Baby, of course. Nice. And then we came back into
Ninja rap.
But that was definitely one of those moments that it's like, so working on the internet brought me here.
Yeah. Gotta love Vanilla Ice.
Auditioning in LA for like regular gigs where you're like, I'm so happy I got a 2-line spot.
Right.
Be in a situation where you're singing the Ninja Turtles rap song with Vanilla.
That's exactly how everyone's career goes, I think.
One of these days, Trish, you and I are going to have to grab a drink and we can each tell each other stories of either terrible or wonderful gigs that we've done in the past, because I've had some doozies.
Oh, yes. I kind of gave you guys some insight into mine earlier tonight when we were doing the pre-show for the rundown.
That's another show.
I would love to hear yours, Jared.
That might be an NC-17 show if we ever stream it.
I was going to say, we'll do a late night.
I can stay clean cut for a long time, but when I'm telling a story like that, not so much.
Right.
I always joke around that at some point we should all do watch-alongs of like highlights of our worst moments on tape.
Oh God. Yeah.
Career. I've got some real bad indie films I was taking part in back in the day. Just because they were like, this is kind of what, just to give the chat some insight, this is kind of what we were talking about before the show went live. But like when you're right out of college and you're super eager, or right out of high school and you're like, I just need tape for my reel.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't even matter if the script is awful and the whole thing's shot horribly and I don't care who's editing it. I just need like 2 seconds of me looking cute on camera so I can put it on my reel. And so you take all these jobs that a lot of times like aren't paying or very low paying, and they're not good.
Nope.
I think no one's ever going to see this.
I remember when I was living in New York City, I will tell this story. I was living in New York City, and I got to audition for an independent film, and it paid. And so I was really excited about it.
Sure.
And I read the script, and it was the writing was actually pretty good. And I went into audition, and it didn't really have any like breakdown in the script as far as like the physical action that was happening in the scene at all. Like it was just the lines of two people going back and forth, and it's a guy and a girl. And I get into the audition room, and there's all these women that are kind of scantily clad. And in Los Angeles, that's not abnormal. Like you go into an audition and you'll be auditioning for the young dad for Mini Wheats or whatever. And then there'll be all these beautiful models that are scantily clad, and they're doing, the next, I don't know, Bud Light or whatever. So I didn't think anything of it. But then when we got closer and closer to the room, there was a guy sitting outside of the door who was like the hall monitor or whatever, the monitor for it. And he goes, okay, so the direction behind the scene is that the woman,
I see where this is going.
All she wants to do is get in your pants. And you cannot go far enough. He's saying this to the girls. He's like, there's nothing that you can do that is going to be far enough for this director.
But they didn't ask you what your company
no, I'm a guy. No, that never comes up. Are you kidding me?
Guys, you're welcome. Anyway, it's like, such garbage.
Yeah. And I was like, I turned to the girl that I'm partnered with, and I'm like, you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. And she was like, oh, I'm fine. Are you okay? And I was like, I guess. And so we get into the room,
Keep it out of my bathing suit area, please.
I have never been more like manhandled and like grabbed and pulled, and she threw me down on the floor at one point and was on top of me. And I'm just trying to like remember my lines and like try to act it out as good as possible. But it was beyond embarrassing. Like it was one of those things where I was like, do I stop this? Because I don't think she's going to, and the director really seems into this, and this is not what I thought this was going to be. Yeah, that was one of my first, independent film, oh my God, this is going to be great.
Katie wants to know if you booked it though.
I did not book it. Probably because the director and the female actress could tell that I was incredibly nervous.
Or maybe it was one of those indie films where the director's like, well, I've actually cast myself in that role, but I want to cast people in.
Probably. Would not have put it past him. Would not have put it past him. Yeah. And then ever since then, I see a scene without any kind of direction to it whatsoever. And I immediately ask, what kind of scene is this?
So what's going on here? Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah.
Smart. Yeah, that's when my career took more of a turn from primarily acting to primarily hosting. I was like, whoo, well, at least I don't have to worry about that anymore. But back in my acting days, yes, we have some war stories, Jarrett. We should get together, have some drinks. In fact, we should just invite everybody.
Right.
Sure.
I'm sure you all have crazy stories. Morgan, yes, audition stories.
Oh yeah, I've got a few. Nothing that quite went to that level, but I've got a few very awkward stories in my past for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just like, everybody else has bad job interview stories, but for whatever reason in showbiz, it like goes to the 10th degree of crazy.
Yeah.
Katie Michaels, all my auditions have always been perfect. Yes, we know.
Okay. Sure,
okay,
Katie.
Sure.
Jessica
says I have a take your clothes off story.
No.
Oh yeah, I most definitely have. That's where I got this from. The director who's saying, and how do you feel about nudity? And how do you feel about simulated intimacy? And by the way, I'll be playing the lead male.
Yeah.
And when you're like, dropping that knowledge bomb in there.
Got it.
Ooh, mama. But yes, we'll get together at some point and tell all those stories. But I'm going to shift gears right now.
I know. Let's.
Story that y'all told last week on the dungeon run.
Professional segue. Professional segue. Way to go.
Yes, done. Check it off. And Jared, you gave us a lovely rap for me that I will never forget, but you also gave a beautiful poem to James Quillis.
It's true. It's true.
By the way, other something we share in common is Civ wrote me a poem.
What?
It's true.
What does it say?
He just handed it to me. I mean, well, he put it in my pocket before we left. He wrote me a poem. It's very appropriately called "Who is James Quillis?" An exploratory poem by Civ Redthistle. What light revealed your path? A choice made, or a birthmark dark and tempting? Hunting knowledge throughout Ein, in absolution, candle oath flickering. Soundless ship falls to blackened depths, swallowed by the briny deep. Slumbering squalache with silent eye, that's very good. Dreams you tethered. Will fresh breath come in morning light? In field of golden poppies may you lay, memories leaked through old city walls. Your reflection in my gaze offers your truth and one lie small. Your destiny not written stone, our path may sunder flesh and bone. Yes, that's true. Yet our armor cannot conceal the ties that bind us are steel. Warlock your mind in chance, but hear my whispers in your ear. Never shall you want nor fear, for some magic can come dressed as poetry and some as song. Laughter shall yet come our way, while creeping demons do draw near. So our simple charge leads a day, to have us feel as if a year.
It's lovely. Mm-hmm. What is it?
It's just the same old... my same old stupid problems. I'm not used to having friends.
Kitty Cat 13 in chat says, my eyes are watering. TK421 says, Katie, your expressions were priceless, and kudos to Morgan reading as James with the appropriate commentary.
Yeah, he nailed it.
I only read it. I only read it once when because Jarrett did send it to me last week as soon as, like, literally, as I think you even said on the stream, and I just emailed it to you when you put it in my pocket. And I don't think I read the whole thing until I read it live. I think I just looked at it, was like, oh, that's what this is. All right, I'm going to wait. Because I wanted to, I guess give it a genuine reaction, and yeah, man, that was lovely. Thank you.
Well, what a treat for all of us that you saved your first blind reaction to it for the show.
Yeah.
James mentions not being used to having friends. So how did this make him feel?
Oh, unsurprisingly awkward. No, but I think. I think James, like Morgan, is often afraid of what people think of him, and so, and especially with a complex relationship like Civ and James have, you could argue that theirs is maybe the most complex of the group, because there seems to be a lot of disagreements there, and we have fights or we have conversations. I wouldn't call them fights. We have conversations which, on their surface, occasionally seem a little adversarial, but having said that, I think there's a lot of trust there, and I think so having it stated so boldly and baldly was not something that James is used to, and that was, yeah, it was it was an emotional punch to the gut, and it was lovely.
Was he comforted or discomforted by it?
No, I think he was comforted. The discomforted part comes. The discomforted part comes when James knows he's lying to people, mm-hmm. and so when you are kind of deep in that, and you see this connection building with people, that everything is slightly soured, because you're like, oh man, like, but once he finds out, is he going to hate me? And so that's so it's the great feelings can only last for so long while he's kind of tortured by his own decisions.
Sure. And Jarrett, why did Civ write this for James?
I think because Civ in the moment, he does everything usually based off of instincts. I mean, that's how he survived for as long as he has in Olsvach and outside of Olsvach and dealing with Whitebeard and all that. It's like, well, I know that this has worked in the past, so I'm gonna do this again. But with James, instincts don't work because that's not how James works. So he's been having to change his tactics to fit other people in the party, including James. Mm-hmm. So in a roundabout way to answer your question, I think James and Civ want the same things, but how we go about getting that is completely different.
Yep.
Like Civ wants to, he sees the target and he wants to, to use a Civ term, stab it. And James sees the target and goes, well, why don't we calculate 60 different, trajectory paths to possibly get there at some point as safely as possible, And Uggo and Civ don't think like that. They think straight lines, or maybe it'll fork 2 times or 3 times, total. The thought process. And so I think the idea behind the poem is that Civ is saying, look, I don't know you completely. You don't know me 100%. But at the end of the day, we both want the same thing. So let's find a way to get there that doesn't involve us having to split the group or fight amongst ourselves, which Civ doesn't want to do. He doesn't like the inner character conflict. He's not as willing to play that game as like James and Uggo did early on when they would get in these yelling matches with one another. That's not his style. That's not Civ's style at all. His is, I'm going to walk away and then I'm going to do whatever I want, however I want, on my own, if necessary. But he can't do that in this situation because he cares too much.
Right.
He cares about the whole group. Originally, he just cared about Lily, but now he's starting to care about everybody, and that's a huge problem for Civ.
Yeah, that's interesting that the problem...
Stabby Daddy.
Jessica's going nuts. Civ and James have the same issue, which is that they're not used to necessarily have to care this much about other people or have them care about him. And it's causing different reactions in both of them. But no, I think James has often tried. I think James does think that the perfect solution exists for problems, and so sometimes it causes inaction because he gets so kind of up here about like I can't mess up. So and it's like finding all these ways he can outsmart it. He can find this. And it can sometimes cause paralysis. It can sometimes cause absolute just locking up. Yeah.
And it's funny because I think Jarrett works like James, but Civ does not work like James at all. Part of the reason why I made Civ is because I don't want to be Jarrett. I want to be somebody other than Jarrett. So I intentionally made my character, take those paths or those choices.
So in Civ's mind, was this a bit of an olive branch?
Oh yeah, for sure. And he knew that if he wrote it, that it would have less of a chance of interpretation being misconstrued.
Okay. And so it had nothing to do with the million Morgan headshots on the wall behind you?
You were just waiting. You're just waiting to be like...
I mean, they're just sitting there. You can't blame anybody.
About them. I forget about them, to be honest with you. But yeah,
I don't.
Hey, there's showman's crush going on behind the scenes. We get it.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Well, it was a beautiful moment, and we always enjoy your poetry, whether it's in written or rapped form.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say this, I definitely appreciate the fact that Morgan/James took his time while reading the poem and let things land, because I take a lot of time on my poems, and I took a lot of time on the rap too, and
yes, you did.
It's something where, you know, I get in like a weird, you know, zone, almost like a not, I don't want to say obsessive, but like I know this could be better, or it's almost there, or ooh, wouldn't it be cool if I had Mind Flayer in there? Yes. Oh, I know I can add these 3 things together, and then I'll get up to a Mind Flayer. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's put that in there. Yeah.
No, it was, if I was going to read it, if I was actually going to read it on the show, I wasn't going to blast through it. And so, I mean, you know, you don't half-ass it, basically. Yeah. So thank you.
Just Jules in chat said, is there any place where we can experience more Jarrett poetry?
Well, funny enough, Jarrett hasn't written any poetry since like high school. And so because Civ changed into this Cyrano type character because of his interactions with Lily and because of his character evolving and changing, the poetry got born out of that. And so all of my poetry that I've done since high school has been in this show.
Amazing.
Either the Dungeon Run or the Dungeon Rundown. So, and I think I put most of it on Discord, or it's on, you know, the fandom site or whatever. But if there's anything that's missing, then by all means let me know, and I'll dig it up and post it on Discord so that you can find it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Cold Candor in chat says, whoa, that is pretty cool. And I 100% agree. That is very, very cool.
Yeah.
What
and
else?
I've never rapped before.
Never, ever?
Ever.
Amazing.
Ever.
Amazing.
I am so honored.
Yeah. Jessica was pushing me, and she was like, you know, you're going to have to do something outside of your comfort zone. And I was like, okay. So this was that. I was super nervous. I haven't felt that nervous. I told my wife this today. I was like, I haven't felt this nervous since like the last time I did a full length play and it was opening night. Like it had that kind of, you know, yeah. So,
well, you could have fooled us.
Yeah.
It was very pro. It was very good.
Very impressive.
Good.
Yes. MB4 said, well, sir, that was amazing. And I agree.
Yeah.
Let's shine some light on Jeff's freaking amazing skills for a hot second.
Whoa.
So last week he brought out another NPC that I don't know about you guys, but I was like almost dry heaving watching this character and hearing what this character was saying about the liquor of death that you're all making lovely cocktails out of right now. But let's take a look back at last week's episode with the introduction of the Viscount Wingersticks envoy and his introduction of the liquor of death.
Do you know how liquor of the dead is made?
We do not. No.
Don't ask. Do not ask.
Jeff.
You're not there, Sam. You're not there.
People poop.
No.
Don't know.
No.
We need to know.
You are truly a scholar on the matter. So yes. We need to know. Yes.
Well, the only way to make it is to ferment the brew inside the corpse of a dead creature.
Okay.
Okay.
You say the... Oh, okay. Ferment the brew. Yes, okay.
Yes. Take some doing...
And
God damn it.
sorry to interrupt you, but do you say you have some stores?
I have some
Like a
that is
cellar?
currently fermenting, but if I were to part with, I would require you perhaps to offer your own corpses.
Oh.
Should you expire.
Wow.
It's pretty polarizing.
Wow.
I either see nope, it is evil in chat saying one of my new favorite NPCs, or the rest of chat who is just straight dying.
Yeah. I mean, he got us all laughing, I think, when he did Jorl. But this is the first time where, like, I think everybody was either breaking character or just having it hard time, not just totally losing it listening to Jeff.
Well, Jeff was breaking, which makes it 10 times harder not to.
Yeah, when Jeff was making himself break, which might be the first time that happened. Saying fail waffle me body as Sue body. What Lily said at some point, I was like, oh no.
It was so vivid the way that he described it, and then the way he acted it out. I could see every little piece of refuse and the two dead skeletons up against the wall. Every time he turned to them and expected them to talk, and then they were talking in his head, but you couldn't hear what they were saying. So it just took it to another level of craziness.
It had probably been maybe since the Salvage Manders that Jeff broke out an NPC that just made like my jaw drop, and it was literally like, are you kidding me? And I just I couldn't even hold it together. And I think, and then some of it like hit me right away, and then some of it stuff like Sir Otterpop, which the first time he said it didn't land with me, and then he said it again, and I was like, oh my god, his name is Sir Otterpop.
Yep.
And so just when you think he's done, like he's already doubled down, then he's like, no, I'm triple downing. I'm gonna do fart sound effects. I'm taking it there.
Yep.
Oh god. It was so incredible.
Sorry, Trish, I cut you off.
It honestly, like, Jeff, hats off. You are immensely talented. This was so funny. I was gonna ask you guys gross or awesome, but I feel like the answer is both.
Both. 100% both.
Yeah. So here's my real question for you. As both seasoned D&D players and tabletop RPG players, this is obviously an awfully gross description, but you as the players don't actually have to drink anything gross.
Yeah.
So how do you create that amount of stakes for yourself acting as the player? Like, I know it's like, well, just act it, but like, there is a big difference between being like, gross, guess I'm going to drink it, roll a constitution check, like, versus actually having to imbibe something that was brewed in a dead carcass.
Yeah, I think it's just power of imagination and Jeff certainly helps that in so many ways with like his whole description of what the Viscount was like, what this has obviously done to him. I think if we had just walked into like a shop and they were like, here's the liquor of death, that'll be 5 gold, thank you very much. Cool.
We would be like, whatever, we'll drink it, it's poison.
It smells bad. Okay, whatever.
But now that we know exactly where it's come from, oh man.
Yeah. Of course, Ugo will drink it right away because we'll be like, now listen, it was really bad.
Whoa. And I wonder if, like, I don't know, are people going to be able to even keep it down? And is it going to do damage when you, like...
I loved how Katie and I were trying to, like, rationalize. Maybe we don't have to drink it. Maybe the castle rum isn't that bad. Maybe it's just, like, a bad hot sauce. Like those moments of, like, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't actually have to drink this. Yeah.
Super, super good.
I was super jealous when Jeff was describing the tower and where you guys were going, and I thought it was going to be really cool. And then you guys got into the room with the guy, what's his name again? The
Viscount Wingerstick's envoy.
Wingerstick's envoy, yeah.
Yes.
And then I was like, I don't know if I'm jealous anymore. And then he started talking about the dead bodies and having to be willing to be a dead body that he can make more liquor in if necessary. Yeah. And then you had to go and dig it out of a dead body to get the bottle. I was like, yeah, I think I'm totally okay watching Uggo crush some halfling, monk in the middle of a mud pit. This is okay with me.
Oh God! I will, and boy, I mean, especially because we're starting next episode with that fight. It's because it's like literally could be the darkest fate for your character ever, as if either Lily and I die in that fight.
Yeah, do not die there. You do not want to die there.
Die there.
So wait, do you only have to give your body if you die there, or is it supposed to be anywhere, anytime in the future you die, your body?
I think the deal was anywhere. So I mean, because I think he even said, "Well, the castle rum's definitely going to kill you." So when you die there, make sure your body's delivered back to me.
Oh man, Jeff Kanata in chat says the question is, what could possibly do bad that drinking is the better option? So I think the question is,
how bad is the castle rum?
Drink is that bad, and
right?
People are willing to drink it versus what would happen otherwise. What lies ahead?
Yeah.
We're going to like a full-on Scooby-Doo spooky castle.
Yeah.
I can't wait. The horror fan in me is very excited, but also
my goodness.
Oh boy, man!
Suddenly we're playing an episode of 10 Candles, and it gets real dark real fast.
Zoink,
so I can't wait as well. I'm very, very excited to see where that goes.
Wow.
Jared, we talked about you sending poetry to James to kind of patch that up, but someone you haven't really patched it up, but it seemed like maybe you were trying to with Sharon. So let's go ahead and take a look at what may have been a reconciliation that turned out definitely not to be right now.
So you are able to pick the lock of the manacles, and Choron looks at you with fear in his eyes, and he says, "Do not get me killed here."
Run. This is your chance.
My chance for what? I want to find my family. My chance is to stay with Whitebeard and you and get to Castle Rum. That's the only chance I have.
You're going to die if you come with us. I'm giving you one last chance.
I am willing to die if it means saving my family. What about that do you not understand?
I understand more than you think. Because this is my family.
He picks up the manacle and puts it back on himself.
Wow.
And he holds the other end to you and he says, "Attach it."
You're going to die. All right. And I lock it back on his arms.
Are you going to kill me?
Perhaps. Perhaps Whitebeard. Perhaps one of his men. But I thought I'd give you one more opportunity to run away. You could go find someone that could help you get to your family before we do.
Who will venture in to Castle Rum save for Whitebeard, save for his bravado, save for his greed? No one. I thought you understood what...
I know one person who's willing to risk his life for you. And I look over at Fahima when I say that.
And he looks at her.
I don't know why, but she cares more about creatures and people than I ever will.
Man.
Okay, real talk. Are you actually trying to save him or just get rid of him?
I don't want to just get rid of him, but there's so many layers to that. I don't know if we have enough time for the rest of this show, but I will say this very quickly. Civ sees Choron as a threat, and the reason why he sees him as a threat is because of what we described earlier, where James is going down one path and Uggo is going down another path, and those paths do not intersect in any way, shape, or form. And Civ sees that because he's been in situations like this before. And that moment of hesitation is going to be when Whitebeard and his men, or whatever's happening at this Castle Rum, strikes. And that's when we lose a party member in Civ's mind. So Choran is putting him in this really difficult situation where he's making him choose between Uggo or James in his mind. And the reason why I say that is because if this was just up to Civ right now, he would just take Choran off on his own and get the information out of him that he needs one way or the other, because that's all he really cares about. He doesn't know if he can even trust Choran, because Choran could be lying about all of this. We know he's lying about something. And Civ really thinks he's holding a lot of secrets, a lot more than what he's let on thus far, especially because nobody's been able to get anything out of him other than, his family was in hiding and has been taken to Castle Rum. Right. That's all we really know. And we kind of sort of know that he knows about these magical items, supposedly. But we don't even know why the Shazam Gao offered 5,000 gold on his head. We have no idea.
Nope.
Choran could be a bad guy.
Yep.
And everyone's assuming that he's a good guy because he's a prisoner of Whitebeard.
So is it fair to say that Choran is the Gollum and you're the Samwise Gamgee of the situation?
Wow.
I think Civ would like to think of himself as that, but I don't think he is.
When did Samwise stab Frodo in the gut?
No,
did I miss that part of the book?
Gollum. Gollum. Yeah.
No, but okay, so Civ is
Sam was the one
Civ is the Gollum.
Like, we need to get rid of him. He's bad. Yeah. Just let him go. And Frodo's like, you never know what role he might have to play. That's what I'm seeing happening here. That everyone's like, we might need him, but Civ is like, get it out of here.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is he has a lot more control over the Choran situation than what he has over Whitebeard.
I said it jokingly. I don't remember when in the last time I said it jokingly, but I am starting to think maybe there's some credence to this idea where I literally think James might have to do a time travel diagram about what might happen if we kill Whitebeard in this timeline.
Yeah. The only thing stopping Civ, and possibly Uggo, but the only thing stopping Civ for sure from killing Whitebeard is James. That's the only thing.
And James is actually, and this is a little bit of a tease, James has some very good reasons which he thinks will convince Civ once he gets the chance to tell him. Because here's a shock. I did the math, and I know exactly what killing Whitebeard will do.
Oh, man. I'm excited to hear that. It couldn't possibly be that Whitebeard is like kind of being nice to you guys right now.
Oh yeah, I trust that about as far as I can throw it. Come on, he's gonna be nice to us until we're no longer needed, and then we're expendable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're making our captain proud, who's a terrible person. I don't know, this isn't good.
The further Uggo goes down that train, the harder it's going to be for Uggo to come back from that when he's really having to do dirty work for Whitebeard. Right now, he's only had to do a couple slightly questionable things.
Right.
But if we get into a situation where it's like Choran and Choran's family, and Whitebeard is like, kill them, do it now, orc. That's your job.
Right.
Then Uggo's going to be like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
No, I think, honestly, I think what it's probably going to come down to is following along with Whitebeard as long as we can, and we're going to have to pick the exact right moment when to, not literally stab him in the back, but when to diverge, when to go like, we're going to follow along this path and take our chance, take our shot, and pick our spots very wisely. Because otherwise, if we do it too soon or too late, everything's spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with Bryba in chat who said we all look forward to James's PowerPoint presentation.
Good.
I agree with that. One of the other things I know we're getting to the end of time, but we're just going to go over today. That's what's going to happen.
Yay! We're doing it.
Breaking the rules.
Overtime.
You're the anti-Jeff.
Yeah, when Jeff cuts it short a little early, but I mean it's a 4-hour show. If you want to a little early,
we know.
Dude. I don't know how he's not exhausted and dripping with sweat after every episode, because that is a marathon every time. But I did want to shout some huge round of applause to the people who work behind the scenes on the dungeon run. So when we were in studio, they were constantly blowing our mind with like moving set pieces and like some of the coolest mini maps I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yep.
And when we were working remotely, you know, we were using a lot more theater of the mind until last week when they introduced the map. And I believe we have a little clip to look at for that.
For the first time, we are going to go into a fight inside the map room. So, I need all of you to open up your
map room
video and see the reveal
What?
of the new map room.
What?
What?
The frack is this? What?
Dude, those are as designed by us.
Those are the minis designed by you guys.
What?
See Fahima at the back of the room, Civ
Oh my
sitting,
God.
watching, looking down. A halfling has entered. Maybe we can zoom in and see some close-ups of the characters just before we even get started.
Are you kidding?
Did you move me there, Jeff, when I said I was over there?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't do it. So there's Uggo
With the Yorkshire?
with his and his maul. There's Fahima at the back of the room looking on in disdain.
Holy crap.
There is a Civ sitting up on the rafters with Whitebeard and Choran and Loudmouth. And this is the Mud Pit.
So cool.
All of the applause and love to the Dungeon Run crew.
We're the luckiest cast in the world.
Yeah. And that, just so everybody knows, that's not based on any other D&D platform that's out there. That is like a proprietary Dungeon Run technology. So guys, tell us a little bit of the behind the scenes of how it worked on your end. Were you just watching this? Like, were you watching it through the live stream, or were you sent it in a separate window? How did it work?
They had us open a separate window before the show started. They're like, go to the separate window, but then minimize it and don't open it until we tell you to. And I think the only thing we glimpsed in that moment that we opened it was that first image you saw of the VR barrels. And we're like, what is that? And so we had no idea what it was. We just knew that there was a surprise coming. And when he told us to, we saw it happen pretty much at the same time that everybody else did.
Yeah, and when it panned over and you could see the two like armored statues in the back and all of the wall props and stuff from the actual set, that just blew my mind, because I was like, it's just going to be like a digital map like you see on, you know, any of the digital gaming platforms or whatever. It's like, no. And we're going to have your guys' miniatures that you designed as little 3-dimensional dudes on the map as well. So
that moved.
And shout out to Candle Queen, because I think she was actually working as an operator as well. So when Jeff would say, Uggo smashes the halfling's face in with his maul, the Uggo miniature would like raise up and like shake and like smash down on top of the little halfling miniature.
It was so good. Yeah, Lily Dumblestuck fan says TDR, go big or go home. That's 100% what happened with the map. It was so cool. Again, huge shout out and kudos to everyone who worked on that and made that happen behind the scenes, because that was awesome.
Special thanks to Alex too, because I think he was the one that was like, hey, we did 3D imaging for the Live from the 8th Dimension show. Why couldn't we do that in this show? And then I think, you know, everything took off from there.
So incredible. Yeah.
2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone who worked on that. Okay, let's show off some fan art.
Do it!
Since it's the last time we're going to be doing it for a while, I'm picking more than one. We're doing lots of fan art. Because Dungeon Rundown. Okay, so first up, we've got the Civ Red Thistle and James Quillis time lapses from Chaotic Brain. We've gotten to see a couple of these from other characters in the past, but since you guys are on tonight,
that's my face.
It is.
It's so amazing. And then watch for Jarrett's face to turn into a cat. Oh, there it is.
It's so good.
He does all that work on my face and then just morphs it into a cat.
Right. And then a totally innocent looking Squalish behind me. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Totally innocent looking. Yes, of course. And then because Chaotic Brain did all of these wonderful player into character portraits, we got a big old Chaotic Brain hug.
Yay.
Round it
There
off.
it is.
Yay!
With Jorl.
With Katie made very small and
Yeah.
Ron made very large.
Yeah.
It
And
makes
my creepy clawed hand on Jorl's shoulder saying, "Give me your money right now."
Yeah,
or
you
else."
do, your left hand is definitely holding a knife to Jorl's back.
I mean, it's in character.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's in character. I love it so much. That is so fantastic. Chaotic Brain, you're so freaking talented.
Yeah, man.
And something else that I found on the Discord, because this was shared on TikTok from Ivy Jane 07.
This is
A
incredible.
Lily cosplay.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
stare at the ocean and you wait. And then Lily steps forward, pulls up her flute, and starts to play. And what you hear
I love it so much,
Yeah.
guys. If you want to follow IvyJane07 on Instagram and TikTok, it's at ivy.cause.
I think she just posted more today of her. She just posted like another scene, one of the scenes of Lily and Ugo negotiating.
Yeah.
Oh,
Three-
man.
it's a 3-part thing that she has all clipped together.
They're
Yeah.
incredible.
so amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're incredible.
Guys, the talent in this community always astounds me, but I
Exactly.
feel like...
Oh,
I
there
can
she is.
follow-
She's in chat. Hi.
Hey, Ivy Jane. Woo, woo, woo.
Ivy
Yeah.
Jane is in chat.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, guys. You're so awesome. I can't wait to see other character cosplays that come out in the future. I feel like we should do another spin-off show that just covers Dungeon Run cosplay and do a whole Dungeon Run cosplay.
You would be the person to host that.
I mean,
I
Little-
would be so down.
Cos-
And we-
all I had to do was Google Trisha Hershberger, and then it was like cosplay, hosting. This is where I'm from. This is this video show that I'm doing where I'm nude, and I interview someone else who's also nude. Yeah.
It's very weird, and it sounds a lot more scandalous than it is.
Yeah.
Sean Becker already branding it the Dungeon Runway. I mean,
There you
yeah,
go.
already.
Yay!
Yes, nailed it. Amazing.
Nailed it hard. I love it. All right. Speaking of people that nailed it, comment of the night. The winner is in. The winner has been chosen. And that winner's night with the cocktail name, the Long Island Iced Tea, was from
Whoa.
Briba.
Briba. That is
Good
Right.
good.
job. Good job, Brian.
That is
Long Island
good.
iced teas all around
Ugh.
on the house. So
Ugh.
gross. Yeah.
That actually sounds like something I would drink.
The Long Island
Yeah.
iced tea.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, well
That would be
played.
I only get one drink tonight, so I'm going to make it count.
Well, Briba, congratulations on your win, and check your inbox to find out how to get some sweet Dungeon Run swag sent right to you. Great job. Okay, so as always, guys, you can watch the Dungeon Run on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and tomorrow night is no exception. So even though, like we had mentioned earlier, this is going to be the last Dungeon Run down for a little while, and the Dungeon Rundown's going on hiatus, the Dungeon Run is still here every Wednesday. Make sure you tune in, and we'll just, run down as much as we can in chat live during the show. That's how it's going to be for a bit, and in the Discord, of course. So check out the dungeonrun.fandom.com for the fandom site. Check out the Discord to keep the conversation going there, and we'll keep the conversation going however we can. I also want to say a huge special thank you to Sean and Dustin and Ryan, people who work so hard behind the scenes to make the rundown happen.
Yes.
And have been doing amazingly above and beyond work with the tech for the remote version of the show.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. So thank you to everyone involved, and we hope to be back very soon if the powers that be say that that's a thing that can happen. We would hope that will happen. So thank you, and thank you everybody right now in chat showing digital love. You guys are the absolute best. Shout out to the crew, because I could not do this without you. Literally, I could not do this without you. So thank you guys. All right, Jarrett, Morgan, some exciting things coming up in your world?
Let's see. Next week, almost all the cast, I think everyone but Jeff is taking part in Jasper's Game Week, which is a charity D&D streams throughout the entire week, benefiting suicide prevention that we're all really excited to be taking part in. Our own Jessica Lynn Parsons actually is taking part in a game on D&D Beyond featuring Patrick Rothfuss and Satine Phoenix, which I can't wait to watch. That sounds like so much fun.
A little celebrity D&D action.
Yeah, our own celebrity JLP. But then all of us are going to be in various games throughout the week because there's a bunch of them.
My time slot is May 5th from 2 to 5 p.m. And the Dungeon Master is Sean Merwin.
Nice.
Who is a game designer.
Very
He's designed a bunch of stuff for the Eberron setting. So if you like Eberron, I'm hoping we're doing Eberron because I never get to play an Eberron. Right. But if you like Eberron, definitely tune in to that because I think that's what we're going to do.
I think I'm doing 2 games. I'm doing one on the 4th, and then I'm doing another one with Stefan Bacorny from Dwarven Forge on the 7th. So yeah, it's going to be very exciting. We're all really excited to be taking
And it
part
all
in
benefits charity, and the charity is for suicide prevention. So it's a very, very good cause.
The links are out there. Check our social medias, and we'll post them in the Discord as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, where can people go again to watch it?
Jasper's Game Day is the easiest way. If you just Google that, it'll pop up. But I mean, follow us on social media as well, and we'll all share and post too.
And I've also been doing more solo streaming on Caffeine at Morgan Peter Brown. I've been playing Alien Isolation for those of you in chat who've been watching. It's been
that game, Morgan.
Trisha.
I know, dude.
I got to the reactor last night. And there was just a solid hour of people watching me going, no, this is not cool.
Yeah, I streamed it years ago when it came out, and I remember hiding in a locker for like 25 minutes straight. I just hid in the locker because I was like, I can't get out of this locker.
Yeah.
I can't.
It was so much. It was so much.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
True story. One of the worst like horror terror nightmares that I ever had, where I woke up and was like hallucinating, was after I watched the original Alien.
It's a good one.
That movie, because it's all Geiger's art.
Yep.
But it's all done in silhouette, so you can't really make out the alien perfectly.
Yeah, you barely see him.
Yeah, it makes it all that much more terrifying because it's all just in your own imagination, in your own mind, as opposed to actually seeing the alien and watching Marines blast them down.
Right. The horror of what you can't see is so often more so much more terrifying than what you can.
Yeah.
It's so
and the facehugger scene, or the scene after the facehugger in the first movie, when the guy flops down on the counter and they're all like, "What's going on? What do we do? What do we do?" Oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's terrifying. I've had a deep phobia of xenomorphs because I watched the first Alien movie like way too young.
Sure.
On
Same
HBO
here.
or something, and people were watching it in the room. That now I have xenomorph pajama pants that are like adorably cute.
Yes.
And I feel like it helps me get through it.
Oh, absolutely.
It helps me deal.
As soon as you can see them as cute and cuddly, you're like, oh. Come on, Alien.
If it hasn't been invented yet, Trish, you should patent like a face hugger pillow, like a pillow that you actually. Oh, do they really? Oh my god.
They have little face hugger plushies that I know a lot of people get for their kids, which is terrible.
We've named the xenomorph in my stream. We've named him Bob, so we can just talk to him. And when I'm particularly angry at him, I will call him by his full name, which we've decided is Robert J. Xenomorph.
That's why everyone in chat is talking about Bob.
That is Bob.
Bob thing.
No, Bob is the alien. Bob is the alien, and then there are killer synthetics called Joes. So yes, that game, man.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I think I'm near the end. I just got to the part where Sigourney Weaver's voice makes an appearance, and it got all misty. I think I'm near the end on it, but I've been streaming more of that solo, so be on the lookout.
Bless your heart. I never made it to the end of that game. I freaked out.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's terrifying. So guys, if you want to get the pants scared off you, make sure that you go and watch Morgan's Caffeine Alien Isolation. And Jarrett, where can people find you?
Well, I haven't done much solo streaming. I usually do the trivia show, and I definitely want to do another one of those relatively soon. But most of my time has been taken up working on poetry and raps lately. So now that that's done, I think I might take a little hiatus and double down on getting my taxes done.
Oh, right. That. Yeah.
You know,
So if you'd like to find me, I'll be streaming late at night, working on my taxes, crying into a pillow, sipping slowly from whiskey or sake.
That sounds dark.
Depending on my mood.
That makes the taxes, the whole process go faster, I hear.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely when I present it later on to my wife and go, look at how much we owe, honey.
And we did a family game night of us playing Jackbox on Saturday night. That was ridiculous fun. Trisha, you'll have to come along for the next time we do it.
Let me know.
Because the community was so much fun. It got pretty filthy, but that one's not for the kids.
Jackbox is one of those that can cross the line real fast.
Oh yeah.
But let me know next time you're doing it.
Katie Michaels knows what she did. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yes. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so very, very much, as always, for being on the show. But thank you both especially for being on the show tonight. And Jarrett, again, a huge thank you for that rap.
Of course.
Thanks for me, I should say. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for being such a lovely, adorable human being / host of the Dungeon Rundown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to do it again soon.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So, all right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to tune in tomorrow night for the Dungeon Run at 6 p.m. Pacific time, right here at caffeine.tv/the Dungeon Run. All right, thank you everybody so much, and have a great night. Bye.
Bye.